Well, I'd like to talk a bit about Obama's visit to the White House and what took place there. Obama came to the White House, and basically it was to pat himself on the back for the Obamacare and some of the initiatives that Biden is changing to move that Obamacare forward, adding a few more things to Obamacare. But I think what was striking I don't know if you saw some of the clips, but the situation where they were all gathered there talking to Obama, and you had Pelosi and a lot of the Democrat senators, and they're all clamoring to Obama. And here's Joe Biden looking kind of lost, not knowing what to do. Everyone's ignoring him, and it just one of those videos where you look and say, this is pretty pathetic. You think to yourself, who is running this? Who is really running this White House? And it really was a striking video of Biden kind of stumbling and fumbling around, trying to find somebody to talk to during that time. I'd like to talk about Russia and what's been the atrocities that we see coming out of Ukraine this past week. Videos, pictures of Ukrainian citizens in the streets, dead. Many, it looked like, might have been shot point blank, and some seemed were in handcuffs. And there's more and more talk about war crimes and charging Putin with these atrocities and what we're seeing coming out of Ukraine. What the U.S. has done this past week, they have been issuing this past week new rounds of sanctions, and this week the Biden administration has targeted two of Putin's daughters with sanctions. Not only that, but the DOJ, the Justice Department, this past Wednesday has charged an oligarch, Konstantin Malofeyev, with violating sanctions while seizing millions of dollars that were related and related funds, and so they've seized those monies. And I'm also hearing that some of the other oligarchs, there's been seizures of these massive yachts that are around the world. So we keep hearing out of a Biden administration that the sanctions they're continuing to ratchet that up. But I believe that really those ratcheting, they're almost out of any leverage anymore. So we'll see if there's any movement here. We have heard that Russia is backed off from Kyiv, and we'll see how that all plays out. As I've said last week, that this may end up with basically Putin going back to the Russian speaking areas that he's wanted to, or that he has an imprint in those areas, and a commitment from Zelensky to negotiate or to come up with a plan that Ukraine will not be joining NATO. So we'll see how that plays out. But so far, we have Putin's daughters are affected, and some Russian oligarchs have been sanctioned. I'd like to ask, and you've heard this week regarding, that there's some concerns about the southern border getting overrun, and it has to do with Title 42. And I ask you, do you know what Title 42 is all about? Well, under the Trump administration, when COVID really hit, what the U.S. did, especially with COVID, this global effect of a pandemic of COVID-19, the Department of Health and Human Services decided to implement and enforce a regulation, Title 42, in March 20 of 2020. Thousands of asylum seekers that made that journey to the border were turned away from accessing the legal system in the U.S. Title 42 is part of the U.S. health law, specifically in section, 262 of the U.S. Code Title 42, which prohibits entry into the United States when the director of the disease control believes there is a serious danger to the introduction of a communicable disease into the United States. Essentially, depending on the health situation, the U.S. is able to prohibit entry except for U.S. citizens, lawful citizens, permanent residents, access to the U.S. So Biden has already talked about lifting this, and that's the concern, because it's almost like another green light. Come on in and continue to invade and flood the border. So this was gave the U.S. the ability to keep illegal aliens on the southern side of the U.S. in Mexico. But now the concern is the floodgates are open. And this Title 42 Biden is talking about could even be next week, saying that no longer are they going to enforce Title 42. But what I'd like us to do is take a look here. A Texas spokesman that's on the southern border is going to talk a bit about what he has been seeing on our nation's southern border in Texas, and what a complete failure that's taking place, and invasion that's happening there on the border in Texas, and the complete chaos that he's been seeing throughout this past year, and definitely concerned about what's going to happen when this Title 42 ends and the floodgates are open. So I'd like us to take a look here at this Texas border official talking about what's taking place and his concerns. Take a look.